That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
I want to care about Signalgate. I do. But I can't. Because it's stupid. The way they've acted is stupid. The way the media. This has nothing, by the way, this has zero to do with what happened. This doesn't have anything to do with the missiles that were launched. This has nothing to do with the attack. It has all to do with the Democrats go, finally, we got something. All right, we have no identity. And we got nothing going on, so this is perfect. Like, this is a good thing for us. So good. But your overall scheme of things, it's not affecting you. Your life didn't change. I checked my account again today. I did not get a Democrats were right bonus about incompetency. Did you guys get one? Bell, you didn't get one, right? You didn't get a bonus in your check or anything? Any trophy?
No, but I did go to the grocery yesterday, and they said there was now a Signalgate fee on my bill.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, the minute something good goes down, they are going to add some taxes to it. But I didn't. It was nothing. Nothing. So, like I said, I want to care. And if this is all it's become and it's just about let's go after some people, then knock yourself out. I don't care. I mean, is it asinine? Yeah. Is it stupid? Yeah. Does it show poor judgment? Yeah, kind of.
It makes the Democrats look like they're just floundering for anything to grab on.
Because they are. They got nothing. But this is not about, like, it could have been anything. This could have been something that had to do with, like, you could sit there and go, okay, well, this could have been the Coast Guard made a mistake about something or sent something out. We're going to go get these narcos. And, it has nothing to do with what the outcome was. It has all to do with the fact that they think they've got a message. And according to many of the things that we're seeing as far as the polls say, the message is reaching some people. They're concerned about it. Yeah, I'd be concerned a little bit about it too. If this happens again, or it happened a bunch and nobody knew because the person that was added didn't tell anybody, well then, yeah, we got serious issues. That isn't this at all. I'm more concerned about what happened yesterday. Right here. Say, legislator, throwing down. By the way, I want you guys to all listen to this. Ken, I think you'll like this. This is how, because the whole, we could sit here and the whole battle that took place yesterday, the throwdown for Guntown, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I could pull some new stuff from here, some of our other people, or I could go to Memphis and see what they have to say. This is how the newscast started. Are you ready, guys? This is spectacular.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
That's how the news guy started the newscast. Do you guys know where everybody is? Do you? I love his voice too. Hey, everybody, it's me, guy with deep voice guy. Yeah. It was not a good look yesterday, let's be honest.
This bill is to repeal permitless carry.
Debate on the bill began like most do in committee hearings.
We have continued to pass legislation that has made it easier for people to have access to firearms.
Representative Justin Pearson of Memphis explaining his bill that would reinstate handgun carry permits in Tennessee.
You don't have to throw out responsible gun ownership in behalf of the Second Amendment.
When Representative Andrew Farmer of Sevierville asked to speak, things took an unexpected turn.
We've been on the House floor voting on bills. We've taken the tough questions. We've taken the tough votes.
Yeah.
And we're doing so. So I don't think it's fair for you to come here and lecture this committee on hard work when we've been up here doing the hard work.
Thank you, Chair Farmer, for your comments. They incense me. They make me very, very angry.
This was the first day Representative Pearson has been back on the Hill since the special session in January, as he grieves for the loss of his younger brother.
Now, I'm going to say this, and Matt and I talked about it briefly yesterday. We can all sympathize. We don't know what that pain's like. Maybe some of you do, to lose a family member, suicide, a brother or something like that. That happened in December. It is March heading into April. My dad died, and I was back at school within, a week. I get that your family's, this is a tragedy and it's awful, but I think there's some fair questions to ask there about, hey, where were you for all that time? Right? This isn't North Korea where they're like, we can't smile for 6 months and can't go outside.
But let me explain to you what I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother, Temperance Darnell Pearson, one of the loves of my life, passed away from gun suicide on December 1st of 2024. And since that happened, it shattered my family like gun violence has shattered so many families.
Representative Pearson, it seems that it's very common in your party when you disagree with a comment. Now, it's not disrespectful to you. That you resort to yelling. Basically, everything you just told me, you just did. I have a family. I've made sacrifices every year.
And there it went from there. And when I watched it over and over again, because there are some people that had some phones and, the different angles and whatnot, and it's so performative. Because that's what modern politics is. It's performative. It is absolutely performative. When you see somebody, I don't care, in today's world, Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC, Boebert, Nancy Mace, and Jasmine Crockett, that right now she's got the stage, right? Like, she has got the stage for performativeness. It is about likes, clicks, views, shares. You have built a brand. And that's what Justin's doing. He's building a brand. He's building a brand for himself as this. And the Republicans helped him with the whole Covenant shooting and then the thing on the floor, we're going to kick you out, and there he is back. That helped him tremendously. Build that brand as a martyr into fighting for the people in the whole 9 yards. It's a brand. It's all about look at me, look at me, look at me, which is unfortunate because that's the way politics has become. And, okay, so now I'm looking at you. What are you going to do for the people?
The committee chair, Representative Clay Doggett, tried to cool things down.
I know this is a very difficult time for you to be back up here, I'm sorry for all the things that you've experienced.
But tempers really flared after Pearson's bill was defeated.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
The noes prevail. House Bill 1392 fails.
It was at this point that the state video feed stays on the voting board, and we can't see what happens next. Thankfully, we have some remarkable photos from Tennessee Lookout photojournalist John Partapillo. Pearson rushed up to where the committee members sit and confronts Farmer. We see House Majority Leader William Lamberth and several House Sergeant-at-Arms holding Pearson back as Representative Farmer avoids eye contact.
Yeah, that was all again. It was performative. Everything's performative. And he got what he wanted, right? Tons of, time on, the national media was covering it. He got all the things that he wanted because performative art is part of what politics now. It's about the brand. How can I brand myself? Our founding fathers didn't want people to politics used to be like this. The way the framers wanted. They wanted you to go out, live your life, work a little bit, raise a family, then serve. It wasn't supposed to be a full-time job. Then somewhere along the line, it was like, well, we should only have professional, politicians kind of things, people that were lawyers and this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, it became people went to school specifically to get themselves to state capitals or to D.C., and they were professional politicians that planted themselves in state capitals. Now they're celebrities.
And how many times do you see politicians on both sides of the aisle talking about qualifications?
Yeah.
Like what happened to the citizen legislator?
That's vanished.
It's gone.
Gone. Completely gone. It's completely gone. We have made it because money is poured in, opportunity to grow and to raise a family and to have an empire and to have, yes, I will say this, a fiefdom of people around you that give you a sense of importance that is crazy. We don't have kings or queens. You know what we have? We have lords. We have dukes and duchesses. We have that. There's no doubt about that. And I could see how it could be intoxicating. But the celebrity is new. The celebrity, and I was saying today, when I was in Arizona, I forgot who I got into an argument with. And it was funny. It was something that had nothing to do with me. I said something, and somebody in one of the state legislators who's, is just a huge Trumper, up Trump's butt all day. That person, something got back to them and via a game of telephone. And she tweeted at me or something, and she represents like 28,000 people or 30,000 people. And she says, I have 700,000 Twitter followers. So what do you think of that? Or something ridiculous. And I think, what does that have to do with anything? You're more concerned with you. Whenever I see politicians talking about stuff, it's about you. You being, hey, you're in trouble. I've got to save you. I've got to fix it. It's about me saving you. Not doing what's best for you. And they build brands. And that's what they're doing. They're building brands. And AOC's great at it. MTG. I mean, say what you want about AOC. She's great at it. She would, if she was a fashion influencer, she'd be good at it. And we know how you feel about it. I understand that, Belle. Belle's got a little bit of a, little crush. I'd love to have her on the show.
I love that woman until she starts talking.
I'd love to. You know what? I'd love to have her show. I bet if you, she'd probably be fun if you could get away from a bit of the politics and the theatrics. She'd probably have a good time, just have to BS.
You should make you a good cocktail.
Look at that. See? Belle went right there. Went right there. She's like, did you work at the Bunny Club or something like that?
She should have.
It's all about the brand, man, building the brand. If you're more concerned about your likes, your shares, your tweets, your followers than your constituents, you're a celebrity. A lot of stuff to get to today. I'm excited. Baseball's back. You're right. Baseball has been very, very good to me. The Dodgers. I love the Dodgers. Grew up a Dodger fan. And I'm pumped. I can't wait. So what's the name? Our AAA team's The Sound, right? Is that the name of the team?
The Sounds.
The Sounds.
Their logo's a musical note.
I remember because I love AAA baseball. So when I was in Sacramento, we used to go to the River Cats, and it was great. And it was funny because we're the AAA affiliate of the Oakland A's, and they would outdraw the Oakland A's because nobody goes to an A's game because it's a crap hole. But AAA minor league baseball is awesome. The food, the fun. The kids are excited because they can run around and do stuff. And I'm excited. But I remember, I think it was Rick Ankill who, if you guys remember him, he was a pitcher that was a superstar for St. Louis back in the day. And then he had a problem called the yips, where he couldn't throw the ball anymore, which is not good when you're throwing at 100 miles an hour and you're hitting the backstop in air. And then he became a outfielder. And I remember him playing for the Nashville Sounds, and it was crazy. Absolutely. Coming up, Ken's got a lot of stuff for you. Got a bunch of other stuff. Yes, I've got demonic seals. Yes, I got ninja stuff. It's incredible. Be prepared for a day of fun and frivolity and a lot less signal.
It is amazing what this show brings the audience.
It does. It is. We've got all kinds of stuff. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, RUFFgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all of this incredible stuff packed into a supplement that is awesome. And you should try the 90-day challenge. So first thing you do is go to roughgreens.com, use my code Chad. They're going to get you out a Jumpstart trial bag of $20 value for free. Then take the 90-day challenge. The first 30 days, you're going to be like, well, my dog, shinier coat, more energy. Day 60, immune systems improve. Coat is full, not really any shedding, and you're going to notice they're a little bit more limber, right? So those aches and pains in the joints, they're loosening up. And by day 90, heart health's improved, immune system is strong as can be, great fur, coat, and skin as well, and you will notice a huge difference, like getting a whole new dog. Try a Jumpstart trial bag today for free. You cover the cost of shipping, and take the 90-day challenge with Rough Greens. You love your animals like I love mine. Give this a try. RUFFgreens.com. Use code Chad. Roughgreens.com. Use code Chad.
ICE has arrested an Iranian national studying mechanical engineering in Tuscaloosa. We'll tell you about that and more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Just confirmed with CENTCOM, we are a go for mission launch. 1215 ET, F-18's launch, first strike package. 1345, trigger-based, F-18 first strike window starts. Target terrorist is at his known location, so should be on time. Strike drones launch. MQ-9s.
It's AI reading off the text. I'm going to do one in Spanish in a little while. Donde este Houthis? El Straico Baño.
Too funny. Oh, my God.
El Straico Baño. Oh.
How do you say signal in...
Signal.
Oh, okay.
And then when it hits the thing, it should go, goal is achieved.
Point one.
Oh, my Lord. Some of you guys chiming in. Some of you not a fan of AOC, even when you mentioned that she's easy on the eyes.
Well, that's the thing is she's very beautiful as far as her physical appearance, but, man, she's got a black heart.
She probably has a very nice heart.
No.
Yeah. How do you know?
Because it's just you cannot come across the way she comes across and be a generally good person. She wants to just basically anybody that doesn't fit her category is evil to her.
You know what? I would love to get her on the show. That would be great. Because I think, at some point in time, you figure Bernie and her and the traveling road show have to get here.
No, they're not coming here. They're not. They wouldn't have a friendly reception.
They could come here. They could come to Nashville.
Yeah, well, that's true. They could Nashville or Memphis.
Yeah, they could easily go to Memphis. But I mean, there would be absolutely love to. You know what, Bernie? If they both came, Bernie, I know would come on because I've had Bernie. He is. Hey, what are you doing? He'll talk to people. He is, by the way, he's super curmudgeon. It's not an act. It's like that's who he is. Like, oh, what are you guys doing?
Have you ever asked him if he knows what a comb is?
No, I don't know what a comb is. It's a very smart remark. I'm going to get up and leave. What do you think of that?
Had Larry David never come up with Seinfeld, he would have made a great Bernie Sanders.
Oh God, he was
perfect.
He was the best Bernie Sanders. Because that's who he is. They're the same.
Yes, they are.
And you know what's funny is that show. What was it? Not Seinfeld, but
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It is so awesome and awful at the same time. Did you see the one where he pretended to have cerebral palsy?
Yes.
So the guy wouldn't rent the office from him?
Yes.
And you're just like, that is, first of all, hilarious. But it's you think to yourself, in the world of political correctness / all this equity and wokeness, the fact that you got away, I think half these people pretend to be Democrats so they can do stuff that's awful that they want to do, knowing, well, as long as I say I'm a Democrat, I can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's like pretending to be gay to hang out with a whole bunch of chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that's super. We should all have a pillow fight. Oh, Lord, Chad. George Costanza's boss sounds like Bernie Sanders. AOC eats corn through chicken wire. Not a fan, huh? She needs the Republican man. Man, not a lot of hey, woo. A lot of people out there. Really, she's a box of rocks, libtard. Okay, now we know how you guys feel. My goodness, some angry folks out there. We were talking, first of all, that's Belle's girlfriend you're talking about.
Yeah, show some respect.
Belle has been stalking her for years.
I put a lot of work into this.
That is insane, though. It's like, I wonder what the audience would think if she came on. Which to me would be like Jasmine Crockett's going on with Benny Johnson today. So, because she's enjoying the spotlight and she'll go anywhere if there's a big enough audience. But we need more of that stuff. I love that. And I would love to have them both on. I would love, let's have a conversation. Let's talk some stuff. Because if you can't do that, then what the hell are we doing here? Because it's a great way to, that's how you smash ideas into each other. Talk about it. That's like having Afton was cool because we had good conversation and it wasn't all about it's all about politics, about life. You find out the things that you have commonality in, and then you can move on the rest of the stuff. But it doesn't sound, here's the thing, in today's world, it's unfortunate that trying to do that, people attack you. How dare you talk to the other side?
You're a rhino.
Yeah, or whatever. You're a rhino. You're a libtard. And on the other side, they're like, you're a traitor. You're a capitalist scumbag. Get over yourselves, people. Coming up, we'll talk a little NPR and PBS because it was kind of funny. It was a little bit funny. By the way, did you have to come in early today, young Ken?
No.
No, because I know that we had sickness running around the house in here.
That's Brother Jay Harper handled it.
Okay, because I knew he was in, but you had, I didn't even know Dan was sick.
Yeah, apparently Dan has a touch of...
and I knew that Joan, she sounded like, okay, coming up on the news.
Yeah.
So I hope you wipe down in there. We're tough.
I don't get sick.
We got beards.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Well, I put my mask on whenever I go to the bathroom.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
That's silliness. You only need it for when you're eating.
In between bites. In between bites. That's when you do it. Oh, my Lord. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to. We'll talk a little NPR because that was kind of funny yesterday. We've got ninjas. We're talking some ninjas as well. If you missed any of the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Alabama, a student from Iran has been arrested by ICE in Tuscaloosa. Alireza Durudi is a doctoral student originally from Iran studying mechanical engineering at the University of Alabama. Taken into custody at his off-campus home around 5 o'clock yesterday morning, but it's not clear why or where he is. Right now in Virginia.
We took down this morning a top leader of MS-13. That is not done easily. That is done with brilliant law enforcement.
As FBI Director Kash Patel, acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, says this task force has been busy.
Of the 342 arrested, we've identified 81 individuals with gang or transnational crime affiliation.
Here in Tennessee, legislation giving schools the option of refusing to enroll illegal immigrant children or charge them tuition will be voted on in the Senate Finance Committee next week. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says the House version cleared the full Education Committee yesterday.
Those in favor of this bill, like Representative William Lamberth, argue that this is about managing resources.
These children will remain in school at no additional tuition and will take resources away from other students. But when they graduate, they are not employable. They will unfortunately have to live in the shadows the rest of their days.
There were protests against this bill in and outside of the House hearing room. Student organizer Abby Hill says they will continue speaking out against this bill.
We aren't just going to let this happen. That's the reason we're here. We're here to show up.
In the end, what they're doing is wrong.
The Senate Finance Committee, they are expected to debate this on Tuesday, and more protests are expected as well.
Yeah, Tennessee Republicans want this issue to go to the U.S. Supreme Court in hopes of overturning that 1982 law guaranteeing every child, regardless of citizenship, a free public education. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Saturday starts dry. Rain will move in late in the day and overnight, as well as a rumble of thunder, but no severe weather threat. We get a break from that rainfall in the afternoon on Sunday, but then Sunday evening and overnight, the risk for strong to severe thunderstorms with all modes of severe weather on the table.
Beacon Capital has your retirement ready toolkit ready. Times like this, you need someone to talk to. Beacon is there for you. It's simple. It's easy. You can call them. Sit down and talk with them, especially when you're in a position where you're sitting there and you're looking at your retirement thinking, I don't want to unretire because things go sideways. And I'm not sure. Tariffs, potential inflation. Could we go into recession? What should I do? Let Beacon help you. They're going to get you out a retirement ready toolkit that includes Money Enough for Life. It's a book, retirement planning checklist, and a maximizing your retirement income white paper. No cost to you, no obligation, and no pressure. Beacon is committed making sure you Look, they're a full-service investment advisor. You can have the options of taking care of everything they've got for you from top to bottom, including if you got fear of taxes, fear of running out of your money, and the biggest concerns when you're heading towards retirement, maybe in retirement. Beacon is going to help you take the guesswork out of all that. Get the Retirement Ready Toolkit at no cost. Call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303, or find them online at askbeaconnow.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Tariffs, they're coming to you. See, this kind of stuff could affect you. Trump's going to throw some tariffs out there.
And what we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff. This is very exciting to me. This is the automobile industry, and this will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen. Before I was elected, we were losing all of our plants that were being built in Mexico and Canada and other places.
There you go. It's going to spur growth because that happens immediately, except for the part where it doesn't.
You have great construction numbers initially, and then you're going to have, ultimately, you're going to have a lot of people making a lot of cars.
So I don't know. The estimates are anywhere between, if we were going to bring back and try to basically onboard back in this country manufacturing again, it would probably be 5 to 10 years before we could do it in a big way. So that's, and you know, so used cars right now, well, if you're going to go buy, go soon rather than later. Now, I don't know how long for these things, you know how this is. I mean, how many times have we heard, well, there's tariffs. When does it start? Next week? They always seem to start next week, but they never go on. But this could be, it's you know, people say it's a gamble. It's something. I'm fine with it because I don't care about cars and I live close to work, so I can walk back and forth. But it is a situation where, you know, it is a bit of a gamble. And I like the fact that you want to manufacture, but there's never any, in today's world of modern technology, and that includes not just robots, but AI, even if you brought stuff back here, until we decide we're more interested in producing than consuming, we're still going to shop with our pocketbook. So we're going to look for cheap stuff. And if it becomes too expensive, we just don't buy it. And then what? It's a fair question. What is the cost going to do? How much does it go up? get ready, buy now.
New cars are already averaging nearly $50,000, and while it's unclear how these tariffs will be implemented, experts say the prices will likely go up about $8,000 on a new imported car. Those increases could start within 1 to 2 months of these tariffs going into effect.
But that's always a big if, because we have heard avocados, waiting for that. Remember that, Mexico? Whatever happened to those tariffs? That just got quiet fast. Then it was
those are coming next week too, but unfortunately, it's always this week. It's never next week.
It's always yes. It's and it's going to be the week after that, and then there's going to be a pause, and there's going to be this. One of the other things that's not taken into account when it comes to this is we produce a lot of things here that go on the cars, especially in Canada and Mexico. So we produce a lot of those things, and then they get shipped over there. So they're going to face the brunt of this as well. So we'll see what it looks like. That's a big if. Everything is negotiation. Everything is. Now, if cars really went up 25% and it stayed there for a while and we didn't see interest rates come down, well, then that would be a big struggle for the car industry. But all of those things are big ifs because he uses these as it's a carrot and a stick. Although, who would want a carrot? Hit me with a stick. Let's see what that's like. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting to see if these things really do go into effect. And if they do, for how long? Because that's the other side of it. Because we've, much like when they're always fighting over whether or not they're going to hit the debt ceiling, whether or not the government's going to close. Have you ever noticed, even when it does close, it's usually for a day, and then they're back at it. So we'll find out about that. Yesterday, there was hearings about NPR. We'll get that in a second. Today, they're going to go to anti-Semitism.
It occurs in a much different political environment. The Trump administration saying that one of its serious goals is to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses. And, of course, that immigration action that's being taken against some of the organizers of these various protests over the Israel-Hamas war, also a backdrop to these hearings today.
Very much so. And I've said this, and we've talked about it here. If you replace Jewish students with any other group, so blacks, women, gays, Muslims, Hispanics, if you do that with any other group, you'd be off campus in 5 seconds. You'd be out of there in a heartbeat. I mean, it would be gone. But for whatever, and the whatever reason is the same thing. The reason that people look over and they're pissed off and angry at Israel is because the color of their skin. They're white. You can call yourself a Jew, but you look white. And because of that, and the seemingly fact that you have a modern society and these people next to you have nothing, that's the problem. That's why you never hear about the wars going on in, Sudan, or the fighting that's gone on for years in Yemen and several other places, because the liberals who live in a world where so much of it isn't based in data and facts and reality, it's based in the feelings. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to pick a side. I don't know how to pick a side. Well, you're only picking a side based on the fact that you think that in your altruistic way that the underdog is morally superior to what you deem to be the evil colonializer. And on campus, there's a lot of splaining to do. There's no doubt. Now, First Amendment rights, fantastic. We should all have those. That's why this weekend I was excited, went out there, lots of First Amendment. People were great. Everybody was kind, Nobody tried to blow up a Tesla, which is a good thing. But that being said, we also have to be real when you start taking over areas, when you start threatening people, when you scare people and chase them away, you've crossed the line from having your First Amendment into terror. Which is, and because they've had this liberal bastion for years on college campuses, these people haven't felt they should ever be afraid of anything because we're the good guys, right? we believe in climate change, and we're for the LGBT community, and we're all the things. So you should totally be fine that we do this. It's no different than chasing Ben Shapiro off campus. Well, no, it absolutely is. And that's not right either, by the way. That's ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, yesterday, it was a nice hearing for NPR and PBS. And boy, was it interesting, to say the least. Lots of stuff. Obviously, the Elmo here. Oh, boy. You know, like doing his thing. It was theatrics, as we've talked about. There is... NPR is... Both of them are to the left. We don't need to spend money there. And that's been... somebody said, this is another thing for Project 2025. Department of Education, immigration, defunding. It's not defunding. You take the money and move it somewhere else. 87 editors for NPR are Democrats. The number for Republicans is 0. Name me anywhere else that you would have an 87-0 and think that you're going to get a fair shake anywhere. Even if you had one, what would that be like? Being the one voice that's not like the others in a place where, and I will tell you, they can be persnickety, the liberals. No doubt about that.
Ms. Marr, generally agree or disagree with the following statement. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles.
I would not say I agree with that, sir.
That's good to hear. It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism. Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay.
I have no idea why I tweeted that. Probably because it felt like something that my followers would like.
Because I believed it at the time.
Yeah. Or I'm just full of crap, and I just want people to think I'm a good white person.
I do not recall that text.
Yeah. I plead the fifth.
Senator, I send a lot of texts, and a lot of them are full of crap, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. I don't think you understand how much I don't pay attention to anything. Yeah. It gets into some of the funny things that she did, and some of it is, again, it's ridiculous. Like, you can hear the white privilege, is like she wants to call it, and the white... You're trying to make all the other white people think you're a good person. That's why you did this.
Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
That in reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January of 2020.
Apologies, I don't recall that I did.
Do you believe that white people inherently feel superior to other races?
I do not.
You don't? You tweeted something to that effect. You said, I grew up feeling superior. How white of me. Why did you tweet that?
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I have never said that, sir.
But you tweeted it. Well, I didn't say it, though. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I did it with my fingers. That's not talking, see?
That's totally different. All right, guys? You don't understand that. Talking is with the mouth. I pushed buttons.
Do you believe that looting is morally wrong?
I believe that looting is illegal, and I refer to it as counterproductive. I think it should be prosecuted.
Do you believe it's morally wrong, though?
Of course.
Of course. Then why did you refer to it as counterproductive? Very different way to describe it.
It is both morally wrong and counterproductive, as well as being illegal.
You tweeted, it's hard to be mad about protests in reference to the BLM protests not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression. You didn't condemn the looting. NPR also promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I'm unfamiliar with that book, sir.
You tweeted that you read that book.
Of course I did, because I want white people to think I'm good. Do you not know who my followers are? I am the CEO of the whitest, most liberal people on earth. They need to know that I am putting in the hard work. Oh, there was a lot of that. There was absolutely a lot of that yesterday. And
I think she thought she was on the air by the way she was speaking.
yeah,
I don't recall that.
I don't recall that. Do you feel like you've lived an advantage life? Yeah, look at me. I'm kind of hot, and I'm white, and I'm better than you guys. Jeez, goodness me. They tried to rope her into some stuff that happened like long before she was ever CEO. I was like, okay, this is a bit much. We'll have some more of that later. We're going to talk about ninjas next because, well, I didn't know there was this big of a problem, but apparently there is a problem in Europe with ninjas. Talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch gold. Gold and then their hills. Gold is important when fiat currency starts to struggle, when people start to look around who are big-time bankers, people who are investors, and they're looking for something. Gold is where they like to go, especially in times that are uncomfortable like this. That's why you need to talk to Birch. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. Talk to my friends over at Birch Gold. They're going to walk you through why it's important. I'm going to get you an investor kit to take a look and why it's good to have a protection. Gold's been around forever and a day, and it's not going anywhere. It's a great place to put your money and diversify and protect yourself downside with the opportunity to make. So text them today. Get the free investor kit over at Birch Gold. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. Get yourself some gold. They're who I buy my gold from, and you should do the same. Text the word Benson to 989898 for Birch Gold.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
An Iranian national swept up by ice in Tuscaloosa. We'll tell you about that story and others at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Apparently, Europe has a ninja problem. They're fixing it.
We begin with breaking news.
Now, this is actually a newscast. This is like breaking news.
We begin with breaking news. The government has banned ninja swords 3 years after the death of 16-year-old Ronan Kanda. It will be illegal to possess, sell, make or import the weapon from the summer, with anyone caught with a ninja sword potentially facing 6 months in prison.
Now, did you guys know that? How dangerous it was over there? I bet you didn't.
I had no idea.
Now, I want you to listen to this, Ken, because what you guys don't know, the difference between us, this is America, baby.
America.
And America is different. Not only we have guns, we have parades for ninjas.
In Modesto, California today, crowds turned out for the annual Modesto County Ninja Parade, which once again passed through town entirely undetected.
This is our 4th straight year coming in. We've still never seen a ninja.
According to an arrow scroll delivered straight into the heart of the city clerk, this marked the 30th year that the Modesto area ninjas have stealthily celebrated their heritage.
It's amazing how the ninjas can sneak by undetected on us. The kids love trying to be able to spot them and not being able to.
A record crowd of 3,000 people came out to not see the ninjas.
We were right where the ninjas probably were.
Best part was probably when I found the candy in my pocket. The ninjas must have came up behind me like really fast and put all this candy.
Despite its long tradition, only once in 1984 was any evidence of the parade's presence captured on film. In Modesto, California.
So there you go.
What about the Jedi?
You know what? They may have been here and they just told us they weren't here and they just disappeared. That can happen. We are not the people you were looking for.
Very well, sir.
That is so. That's the difference between us. All right. That's why we're America and they're not.
America. Because
we're celebrating ninjas. I like how they, once again, they swept through and nobody saw them.
Yeah.
This is the 5th year I've come out here to not see the ninjas. That's the Onion for those of you not paying attention.
You mean that kid didn't really get his candy?
He did not. He did not. There are modern day ninjas.
Well, ninjas they're selfish too with their candy.
So selfish.
And that news story was out of England, right?
Yeah, that news story.
They just need a tiny little bit of common sense knife control, and they'll be okay.
Well, they need ninja control. It's not about the knife. All right, it's not about the ninja.
Oh, that's
sword.
right. I forgot. It's always about the knife because it's always about the gun.
You know what's funny? When I was in Arizona, one of the things that the Attorney General did is he got ninja stars and nunchucks decriminalized, so you could go get nunchucks.
Good for him.
And at the swap meet the next week, there were thousands of nunchucks and ninja stars. Everybody had a ninja star when we were a kid.
Absolutely, dude. I've got a buddy who runs, he's a sensei, a kung fu.
No way.
Teacher in East Texas. And, I mean, he teaches self-defense. I mean, if they were to ban that here, he would lose his business.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't do that.
He's
We
got
need
all
ninjas.
that stuff, man.
So let's say ninja control, never, because you can't see, and you can't control what you can't see. Woo! Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top story. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Drivers got a crash over on the East Loop going eastbound right there at James Robertson Parkway. It is the left lane that is blocked, so get to the right. More ICE arrests of college students today under President Trump's executive order to combat anti-Semitism. In Alabama, Iranian national Alireza Durudi, a doctoral student of mechanical engineering in Tuscaloosa, taken into custody around 5 o'clock yesterday morning at his off-campus home. His student visa had been revoked 6 months after he entered the U.S. on January 2023, but he was told by the University of Alabama he could stay as long as he maintained student status. Right now, it's unknown what exactly he did to get arrested or where he's at. Another student at Tufts University in Massachusetts, a Turkish student, taken into custody by ICE yesterday. 30-year-old Rumeysa Öztürk co-authored an op-ed in a student newspaper that called on Tufts University to cut ties with Israel. And right now in Virginia,
we took down this morning a top leader of MS-13. That is not done easily. That is done with brilliant law enforcement.
FBI Director Kash Patel, just how bad a boy was this fella, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi?
He was one of the top members, top 3 in the entire country, head of the East Coast, one of the 3 leaders, and I will say very violent crimes. Anything you can associate with MS-13, he was the leader over it. All of the violent crimes.
An acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, says this task force has been busy.
Of the 342 arrested, we've identified 81 individuals with gang or transnational crime of affiliation.
Job cuts coming for the Department of Health and Human Services. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. says in a statement, quote, "We are realigning the organization with its core mission." Here's Karen Travers.
The Department of Health and Human Services says it will cut about 10,000 full-time employees. That's in addition to the nearly 10,000 HHS employees who've already left the agency in the last few months through buyout offers or early retirements. Despite cutting nearly 1/4 of its staff, HHS maintains the restructuring won't impact critical services, but cuts have already hit top researchers at the National Institutes of Health. HHS says these latest cuts will save taxpayers $1.8 billion per year.
President Trump's announcement of 25% tariffs on all new vehicles imported into the U.S. Here's Mike Dubusky.
Prices for many new cars are expected to go up under the Trump administration's new tariffs, but the big question is by how much?
At 25% across the board would be very difficult for automakers to pull off.
Edmunds Director of Insights Ivan Drury says tariffs are expected to strain the whole car market. Moody's Analytics says prices could jump by at least $6,000 by next year, and Drury says it could go even higher.
Because it is a percentage of the price. Easily $10K is not unforeseen.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
By the way, we were talking about ninjas. I don't know if you saw this, Belle. Somebody sent us a picture of maybe the greatest book title. You guys are all ready for this book title? Real Ultimate Power, the official ninja book. Now, here's the... Hi, this book is all about ninjas, real ninjas. This book is awesome. My name is Robert, and I can't stop thinking about ninjas. These guys are cool, and by cool, I mean totally sweet.
Who wrote the book?
Robert Hamburger. And by real, I mean totally sweet. That sounds like a book you would write at 12 or 11. This book's sweet, dude.
Wow.
You're going to like it. Oh. So we're snatching people off the street. We just got somebody in Alabama.
Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide. And Tide fans, you can relax. He did not play football.
Hey, did you see the person they got in Philadelphia?
That Tufts University?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was, you know what? If you were ever thinking, you and your friends, hey, we should go kidnap somebody, this might be the time you can get away with it.
Yeah, that was very interesting because in the video, I may have missed it, I did not see them show any type of identification.
They did not. They rolled up. One person had a hood thing on, like a ski mask.
Yeah.
Few others didn't. And they surrounded this girl. There was no identification shown whatsoever. And they're like, yeah, we got her. She's in Louisiana. I'm like, do you? Or do some weirdos have her? But that was a creepy, like that thing was weird. It just felt like, okay, look, you can go get her. But that kind of snatch and grab, I'm waiting for a van just to roll up, open the doors, snatch somebody in and go. And they're like, well, that person, they were pro-Hamas.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were announcing who they were, but, you can't tell from the video.
No, you can't tell from the video at all. But Marco Rubio is speaking out about some of these things, and he's being pretty honest because he's getting some serious questions about, hey, what the heck's going on?
Mr. Secretary, a Turkish student in Boston was detained and handcuffed on the street by plainclothes agents. A year ago, she wrote an opinion piece about the Gaza war. Could you help us understand what the specific action she took led to her visa being revoked?
Yeah,
and what was your State Department's role in that process?
We revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa.
I mean, that seems... I have zero problem with any of you go and you do this stuff, especially when it comes to the way that it's been handled on campus. And they're having a big, they're having hearings about it today and how things have really changed on political, the political side of stuff on campuses. But when you start to threaten people, when you start to intimidate people, when you start to take over areas and do it in such a way, this isn't a 1960s sit-in where everybody's singing Kumbaya, my lord, and they're mad because, I don't know, weed's not legal on campus or whatever they were doing back then. I don't know what they were angry about. Sometimes it was Vietnam War. Sometimes it was just because it was Tuesday. I like Tuesdays, but, it's not the best day of the week. This is different. They're taking over areas and intimidating students, threatening students in support of a group that has, and I know one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. That being said, the way that they've gone about doing it is different than saying we support, because there are people out there who support. They don't want to see anybody die. They don't hate the Jews. They don't hate anybody, but they're caught up in it. But many of these kids aren't. And the pieces they've written and the people that they've advocated for and the organizations they work with have definitely had some serious issues with the way that they've handled their business. Now, I agree in the First Amendment 100%. But you are here as a guest. So You should know that now. You're here as a guest, and you're going to be scrutinized that. And if you've been out there and you've protested, but you're anti-Hamas and you're pro-Palestinian and you haven't said bad things, you got nothing to worry about. But if you've been advocating for and cheering on, you're going to be in some trouble. You better start thinking about what you're going to wear on the plane home.
And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple. I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? Now, we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that, by the way, because I think it's crazy to invite students into your country that are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave. Every country in the world has a right to decide who comes in as a visitor and who doesn't. If you invite me into your home because you say, I want to come to your house for dinner, and I go to your house and I start putting mud on your couch and spray painting your kitchen, I bet you're going to kick me out. Well, we're going to do the same thing if you come into the United States as a visitor and create a ruckus for us. We don't want it. We don't want it in our country. Go back and do it in your country. But you're not going to do it in our country.
I had zero problem with that. No problem. Now, the Mahmoud Khalif, a little different. Wife's American, permanent green card. Yes, you can revoke it. At least give us the reason. This is a much different thing. You're here on a visa that is much easier to revoke. You have much less of the rights, if you will, on this, and we know exactly what it is. Do I want due process? Yeah, take a look. Make sure you're doing it for, like, if somebody said, I believe the Palestinian people are victims, it's not the same thing that says, I hope Hamas kills all Jews. And we should want, there to be some transparency. And somebody texted earlier and said, are we sending them to El Salvador? We are not sending them to El Salvador. It's not the same thing. These are people that are going to just go home. Go back to whence they came, and that's it. But when I moved to England when I was a young kid, the minute I got there, I knew rules had changed. So I'm here. I'm living under these rules now, right? Now, like if I went to England today, I couldn't have a ninja sword no matter how much I wanted to be a ninja because they banned them. But rules have changed. Okay, so the rules have changed. But I also knew I'm there in this country as a guest, blessed to do something, and I was going to not only follow the rules, I was going to champion whatever it is that they, like England. I lived as much as I could. I was still an American, but I lived as much as I could as an Englishman because I was there. I was pro-Brit all the time, unless it was the Olympics, and they were going up against the Americans, which was totally fine. It's sports. It's a different world. We're allowed to do that. But you need to learn what the rules are. And when you're a guest in somebody's house, like he said, there are rules. This is the rule. And so there's going to be a lot more of this. And I am curious. Somebody said, Ken, that there's somebody pulled the badge out and showed it. I didn't see the ones that I didn't see that part. But it felt weird. They got her, though.
Well, I haven't noticed in the other arrests, I haven't noticed masked ICE agents. I mean, there may be a reason for it. I mean, they may want to hide, keep these agents' identities, under wraps. But
we wouldn't want the cartels to get this. Their college cartel.
Yeah. So I don't know. It looked like some dudes in masks just coming up.
Just snatching some woman off the street.
Okay, there is one guy, he did. Okay, a guy does pull his badge out. He pulls his badge out. It's on a necklace, and he is not masked. This one is not masked. He actually he's got a necklace, basically, with a badge on it. He pulls it out, he shows it, and then the arrest is made.
What if it just says sheriff, and then underneath it says Knott's Berry Farm? Dollywood.
His fire chief.
Dollywood. I'm the official marshal of Dollywood. Get in my van.
Apparently, what this individual did is she apparently encouraged Tufts University to boycott anybody doing business with Israel.
Yeah, it's that boycott, divest thing, that BDE, whatever it is, that they're pushing. And they've been, by the way, that thing has been around forever, that movement. It's different now. Trump's there, and it's different. And the thing is, after October 7th, the people decided to take to the streets and intimidate and stuff. If there was no October 7th, nobody would care about this, right? Because these things have been going on for a while. They go out and they hold their flags and they beat their drums and stuff. But it became different. Then it got violent. Then it got, where you're destroying property.
And you're blocking Jewish students from going to class.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's, like you said, that goes beyond First Amendment.
Somebody said there's zero reason to hide your face in that instance. Yeah, I just felt that was kind of weird, too.
Well, and what I've noticed, too, looking at it again, they put a couple of them come up and put their masks on.
Yeah, it was a little late.
Yeah. So.
Hold on a second. Let me get this on. You didn't see my face, did you? It's, you got to do it right. And I don't think we want to scare the crap out of every college student that's here. But you've got to be honest with yourself. If you're out there doing the things that, where you're advocating, you're threatening, you're blocking, it's the difference between boycotting and having a voice. And I wouldn't want to take away anybody's right to have their voice heard.
Right.
But the minute you get to the point where you're threatening, because I've got friends who are on campus who in both at Arizona State, whose kids are on campus, and at UCLA. And they're not Jewish, and they weren't participating in any of it. But you could see the fear.
Oh, yeah.
On some of these people's faces. And I spoke to a girl last year, or just afterwards, when the really started to take off, that it became this thing at ASU. And she's from Israel. She's a former IDF, she was a medic in the IDF, but she's over here studying. And she talks about, they tell her, all right, hide anything that could show you're Jewish. It's like, wow, really? It's like, that's your plan, is to just tell them, hide who you are.
That's one step away from put the star on your clothes.
Exactly. Because they're terrified of speaking out against what they see as people who are emotional and rabid and recognize, well, it's just easier to placate them, because otherwise it's going to be a nightmare. We're going to have protests 24/7, and it's going to be more of a nightmare. So if we placate them somewhat and allow them to do this, it's going to be okay. And it wasn't, and it grew. And then you had outside agitators coming there.
Yep.
Who, they're professionals. That's what they do. I was surprised we didn't have more of those like Palestine things at that Tesla thing. There was none there. And I figured you'd get one, just like, Burma. It's always Burma to us.
Yeah.
It'll never be anything other than Burma.
It'll always be Burma to me.
Coming up, a lot of stuff still to squeeze into. Talk a little bit about that bill, controversial bill working its way through the legislature here, about should kids that are here, whose parents brought them here illegally, should they go to school? Should they be charged? Talk a bit about that, because that is, of course, controversial, because everything we do in today's world is controversial. Plus, we got a bunch of other stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about tariffs as well. Are we really going to do it? Because I'm still thinking we're not. That's my sense. I don't know what yours is. You can always text the program. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital. Should talk to my buddies over there. Get yourself a second opinion when it comes to your retirement and your investments across the board. So many people out there, their whole retirement is, it's stuck, it's in some stocks or whatever and some ETFs, and I'm just going to let it sit there. It's a cookie cutter. Don't do that. Have somebody build you something that's meant for you. Let my buddies take a second look at what's going on in your retirement, your IRAs, your investments, and show you what it's all about. My buddy, Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer, great guy. He handles business like nobody does, and he's incredible. And he's going to show you what it's all about. They're going to build you out something, show you what's going on in your account, and talk about where you want to be in the future, because that's what it should be about. Call 866-779-RISK today for Bulwark Capital, 866-779-RISK. Talk to them about a second opinion. Doesn't cost you anything. You can also check out everything they do at knowyourriskradio.com, KNOW, yourriskradio.com. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, and SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk, are not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee future results. Trek 24173. You want your back to feel better? Of course you do. That's what the wellness is all about. That's right. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. My buddy, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, want to take care of you. Your back is important. You know, one of the things, for all the stuff in the world, you know, if your health goes bad, it's not a good thing, right? And Wellness Institute wants to get you back doing stuff. It's beautiful outside. We're all in shorts today. We're feeling good. We're looking good. You want to be moving around doing stuff this summer? Get over there. In honor of the 47th president, they have 47% off non-surgical decompression going on right now. There's no pills or, you know, voodoo or creams or anything like that. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are experts of non-surgical decompression. They've got state-of-the-art futuristic facilities. You go in there, it is incredible. They're going to make you feel amazing, and they're going to build you out a plan that's going to get you up and moving and your back feeling better than it's felt in years. Call them today. Go in and see them, 615-246-5009. Take advantage of the 47% off, Big 47 going on right now. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. Call 615-246-5009 or painisbad.com.
Got an update on that deadly crash that shut down I-24 eastbound in the Davidson County, Rutherford County line overnight. Looks like alcohol may have been involved. That's going to be at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So apparently, Elise, was it Stefanik? They've pulled her nomination for the UN ambassador.
Yeah, I've been seeing some alerts about that.
Guess there's some issues, you know, they're having some issues. Let's be real. We do this in this country. It's always been this way. Some of these, there's been some special elections that have not gone the way that maybe the Republicans thought or way closer than they thought it was going to be. There is, because we don't like it if one side has too much power or not. And with the way things are moving, right, wrong, whatever it is, people get nervous. And there's definitely some serious issues out there in people's minds. So they pulled it today. And, you know, I don't know what exactly it is. Private GOP poll, and they're saying that Republicans, a survey by Tony Fabriziono, who was Trump's pollster, said the percentage points in some of these areas, especially places that she was at, it's not as good. And they think that that it would have hurt them in the long run, so they're going to yank. It wasn't anything like they have pictures of her or they found out something else. How hard is it to be the UN ambassador? What do you do there? That's got to be a good gig.
Trump tells you.
Yeah, that's got to be a good gig, right? What do you think?
You go in and you sit down at the Security Council table and go, you guys suck, and then you go and have dinner.
Oh, jeez.
Be a lot of fun under Trump because you could just tell everybody to go pound sand.
Totally. He told me to tell you guys suck. You guys suck. It's awful.
When India and China decide to reduce emissions, come talk to us.
Yeah, there's a perfect example of, like, crap. You know about this, this, and this. We are such a fine, tiny bit of climate. And it's crazy, but you're right. Like, when the two biggest polluters on the planet, like as far as and continuing to do so, like they're building coal plants like it's going out of style over there. When they decide, okay, we're not going to do this. Okay, then we can all have a conversation. But yeah, you're right though. It's anything Trump tells you. Probably going to go to a lot of cocktail parties. That's my assumption. Yeah. That feels like a cocktail party
thing. That sounds like you're trying to be sarcastic, but it's 100% factual.
I'm not. That is I feel like there's lots of meetings. I feel like there's lots of stuff that they do uptown in Manhattan. I feel like lots of we're entertaining the Mufti of Brunei or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff. A lot of money grabbing too. You figure that would be it. Because they do that. That's a big thing with the UN. They love that stuff. They love that stuff. Brian Selter, we miss you. What's going on?
These are shockingly detailed descriptions of the bombs that are about to fall in Yemen, and Jeffrey Goldberg is getting these details many minutes before the bombs fall.
Miss Old.
Said his name wrong.
Brian Stelter?
Yeah.
What do you call him?
Pronounced the potato.
Oh, the potato. The potato. Continue.
If this is not classified information, I would like the president to tell us what would count as classified information. Now, The Atlantic is publishing this on theatlantic.com because Trump and his aides have said that none of this is classified. That has been the main defense from the Trump White House.
Should it have been classified? That's a question. Maybe. Maybe it shouldn't. But does it affect you on a day-to-day basis? And yeah, we should have some questions because I think they've lied. I think they've caught themselves in being stupid. They look like clowns. And at some point in time, you have to ask yourself, okay, is this worth the headache? Or, are we going to stick with this guy or are we going to fish or cut bait? And then if somebody's head needs to roll, you go and you get an assistant and you basically say, this is it. We're going to thin the herd and, we'll catch you later. But it's more of an embarrassment by the way it's been handled. But is it the greatest, craziest thing? No. But the Democrats love it, though. They need it. It's given them something to talk about that they think they can energize. The problem is, what are you energizing? There's no vote tomorrow for anything. What are you energizing? If you're going to stand up for people, stand up for things that people think are really an issue, right? Like the tariffs. Have a serious conversation about that. Find out what you can do to absolutely cut waste, fraud, and abuse and get in there with Doge and say, I want to help you cut it so you can see what's going on firsthand and not just throw stuff against the wall and say, I'm doing everything I can because I want to make sure I protect all these things. Do the things like that where you can go, I'm working for the people. Because whenever I hear people talk about we're not fighting Trump enough, that's not what you need to say to yourself. You need to ask yourself, how do we fight better for the people and the things that they want, not against somebody? Coming up, maybe we'll talk Seals. Demonic Seals. That's a good name for a band. Demonic Seals.
Actually, that would be a good name for a band.
Right? You guys want to hear something creepy? They found out that sharks make noise right before they attack.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of noise?
It's some sort of, I don't know. I'm not a shark. First of all, somebody probably got $500,000 to study that.
You're going to pique my curiosity,
Well,
man.
then we're going to have to find out what it's like. It's not like say, hey, guys, here I'm coming to get you, boo. That would be hilarious.
Just when you need Captain Quint.
Y'all know me. Y'all know what I do. Hoopa! Hoopa! That's the USS Indianapolis. Coming up, Ken's News, straight ahead, Chad Betts Show, Super Talk 997.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we've got that crash blocking the left lane, the East Loop going eastbound there at James Robertson Parkway, not Pikeway. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Have an update on that deadly crash that shut down I-24 eastbound at the Davidson County, Rutherford County line overnight. Metro Police charging the driver of the Ram pickup truck with 2 counts of vehicular homicide by intoxication. Police say they found several open containers of alcohol in the truck, which 25-year-old Daniel Carvaca Bonilla was driving. He refused to perform a sobriety test there on the scene. The 2 men who were killed, both from Illinois, were trying to merge due to construction when they were slammed from behind by that Ram pickup. No identification, or rather no indication that the driver of the Ram even tried to brake. Another student on a student visa has been detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, this time in Tuscaloosa. ABC's Aaron Katersky says details are spotty, but Alireza Durruti was studying mechanical engineering.
He was taken into custody on Wednesday, and he is now in ICE custody. Apparently, it was taken off campus, according to the University of Alabama. He's a doctoral student. He's a citizen of Iran, but we don't know any more circumstances than that as to why ICE wanted to detain him.
Now, this comes after a Tufts University graduate student from Turkey was arrested by ICE yesterday. Rumeysa Öztürk was in the U.S. on a student visa. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he revoked her visa due to her views on the Israel-Hamas war. And in politics, we just told you Florida Congresswoman Elise Stefanik's nomination as UN ambassador being pulled by President Trump. Trump administration worried the Democrat in the special election for her seat in Florida might win if she's confirmed as UN ambassador. That election is Tuesday. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Sunday, but then Sunday evening and overnight, the risk for strong to severe thunderstorms with all modes of severe weather on the table.
Busy Bee. Have you joined the famous Beehive Club? You should. It's great. They got tons of specials. They're going to take care of you. Whether it's HVAC or plumbing, Busy Bee has you covered. And right now, they've got tons of specials. Everything from free dryer vent cleaning to they got what they call rebate madness and tons of other stuff that has to go with, yes, HVACs, including, something here, a split hump model. That's what they do. They got great deals. Tons of it. Mainline inspections, free air duct cleaning package upgrade. They've got everything ready for you. And when you join the Beehive Club, it is awesome. You buy one, right now they got a BOGO. You buy one yearly Beehive Club membership and get one for free of equal or lesser value going on right now. That includes 3 annual tune-ups, 10% discount, priority frontline service. So I always say is super important, especially, at certain times of year. It's a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000. No overtime, no holiday fees, all the stuff. That's why you join the club. Take advantage of this and so many other things that they do at the Beehive Club. Join it today and make sure whether you've got issues with your HVAC or your plumbing that you make one call, and that's the only call you're ever going to need, and that's to Busy Bee. Call 775-7833, 775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
You know, what's funny is we talk about like the protest and whatnot, and everybody's like, it's free speech, it's this, it's that. You have free speech. You do. Doesn't mean that certain speech doesn't come with repercussions. And when you're in somebody's, you know, a vast majority, and I know a lot of people out there don't want to hear this, just because you're not a citizen doesn't mean you don't have rights. And you have many of the rights. But with certain visas and certain things, we have the right as well. And look, this isn't just about, you know, everybody thinks, well, they're out there doing the good work here and good work there. There's a lot of money behind. The ADL has got a ton of money behind a lot of this stuff, Anti-Defamation League. And there's no doubt about that. But there are repercussions for your actions. And if you're a support of a terrorist organization, if you're an American, knock yourself out. Go ahead. But they have the right, especially if you were in a situation where, and I think this is where due process comes in, that they can prove that you were a part of something that caused damage, that was threatening, then yes, they have every right to say, you have to leave. You do. It's a divisive situation that has gone on forever and a day. Free speech is a wonderful thing. And free speech, by the way, does come with repercussions in situations. And whether you're here on a visa and you've decided you're going to throw your lot in with the likes of Hamas or groups that maybe support Hamas, and you have participated in taking over areas, damaging things, and threatening students, well, guess what? They have the right to go, yeah, you know, this is not something that we want in our country. And we have the right to say, and as frustrating as it is, because I'm a big free speech advocate, I understand. And it brought me to this. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Snow White came out, and it's not very good.
And didn't do very well.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's very good either.
No, it's not. In fact, I'm going to give you guys Tom Segura's wife. What's her name? Christine Paluski or whatever. She's a comic too. She had this to say about getting ready to go see Snow White. And it's entertaining. I think I got all the beeps, but just in case, be ready.
Yeah, I'm going to see the Snow White movie, but I heard already some bullshit about it. Like, number one, she's not looking for love. Like, oh, it's 2025. She doesn't have to look for love. She has to find her purpose. Like, what the fuck is wrong with love? What is wrong? What is wrong with a woman finding love? What's wrong with a bitch finding a sweetheart? And not only that, like, oh, there's no dwarves. Why not? Are you fucking anti-dwarf, dude? Hollywood all of a sudden doesn't want to hire dwarves. And by the way, the reason that were dwarves in the original movie is because they represented childlike creatures. They had big eyes. They weren't Snow White. It wasn't like an orgy. They were like childlike beings that took care of her. And then also, they're like, oh, Snow White isn't going to cook and clean in this one because that's not anti-feminist. Okay, well, what about this? Snow White doesn't have any skills, bro. She's a princess. She's a princess with a stepmom problem. The bitch had to flee her existence, like essentially the immigrant story, flee her country of origin, and this is how she makes a living. This is how she supports herself. She cooks and cleans in exchange for the dwarves' protection and shelter. This is stupid.
Knowing that there wasn't anything going on between Snow White and the dwarves just ruins my childhood now. Destroys it.
Do you think that maybe she fell in love with Dopey or somebody?
I thought they were just, it was an open relationship kind of thing.
It was not. It was not. They're like, look, we'll protect you, lady, right? But we ain't working for free, right? So the least you could do is clean up around here, maybe make us something. Little something for the effort, okay?
Take some sandwiches into the mines.
So this is what happened. People started sending the son of the producer horrible messages. One person said, your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this, huh? Because that seems creepy as hell. Uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No, shame on your father. And finally got to the point where he said, all right, you guys want to do this? Let's do it. My dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP, that's intellectual property, with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics in the middle of promoting a movie, which she signed for a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid to do publicity. This is called adult responsibility and accountability. Her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want when you're private employment without repercussion. Tens of thousands of workers on that film. She hijacked their conversation for her own immature desires, the risk of the colleagues in the crew and the blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to become successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. She had the right to do it, and I will protect her right to say whatever she wants. But if I'm going to put my money into something and I know that you may sink it for your own gratification because you want to say something, I should have the right to say, yeah, go ahead and do that, just not with my money.
That's hateful, Chad.
I don't care. I really don't. No. I mean, I will stand there and have your right to say anything you want. Knock yourself out as long as you're not advocating violence. Zero problems with it. The problem was you wanted to, first of all, it started even before the movie even started shooting. When you started saying, it's going to be like this, and it's going to be like that, and it's going to be like this, and it's going to be like that, and I'm going to be a modern woman, blah. Here's the one thing that I don't think many of these, especially Disney, you guys don't get. You don't mess with people's childhoods, memories. If you want to build a new superhero character and you want it to be gay so it can fight climate change, go ahead. But don't change Superman into something you want for today's modern sensibilities, because you know what? Guess who doesn't like that? People who are gay who grew up with Superman. It's memories. You don't screw with people's memories.
No.
And they jacked the pooch on this one, too.
I'm telling you, dude, I'm out on these Marvels.
Yeah.
These Marvel shows ever since Stan Lee died. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but to me, they're just stupid.
Yeah, they've overcooked the omelet, if you will.
There you go.
Trying to force Hollywood's sensibilities into something where they think, well, you know, all these people I know are gay, so that's what the world. No, it's not. And, you know, Like, same thing with Star Wars. Like, what was the latest one? You know, they have a trans, was it, what are those things? The ones who dress in white, I always forget.
Oh, Stormtroopers.
Stormtrooper. I'm like, how would you even know? They could be all trans for all. But why? Like, what's the use in that? Is that going to save the Force or whatever it is we're trying to say? To be honest with you, I don't even know what we're fighting about anymore.
Trying to save the rebellion.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no. The Stormtroopers were trying to save the Empire.
So,
Palpatine.
Somebody said, were you even going to see the Snow White movie? Move along, Snowflake. Oh, I'm going to see it. I have a 6-year-old daughter.
Oh, you've got to see it then, dude.
We are. I got no problems.
Yeah.
So, you know, of course I'm going to see it. I've got a 6-year-old daughter, and she wants to see it. And she doesn't know about any of this stuff and the fighting that's going on outside of it.
Have you shown her the original?
Yeah. Yeah, she liked the original.
So how do you explain the differences to her?
She won't even think about that at 6. I wouldn't think, anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. You know, I mean, it's she's really into the live action. Like she loves, you know, the live. She didn't like Mufasa though. She didn't like Seven, but she's into the, you know, like a lot of kids. I just saw, was it Moana? They just Lilo and Stitch. They just had that. I wonder what they're going to do with that one. My name's Stitch. Look at me. Yay, pride. You're like, what? Oh, goodness me. I just, like Elmo. Happy Pride Day. Oh, geez, Elmo. I thought Elmo was in trouble. Didn't he try to date a 16-year-old boy? Is that what happened?
Like that.
That was the purple thing.
The purple thing.
That's why Ken doesn't get to name any of our Muppets.
That was that dinosaur, Barney, I think.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Barney.
No, the puppeteer for Elmo did get in trouble.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think anything ever came of it.
No, it did.
But, yeah, so it's just stop messing with people's memories. That's what these people don't understand. You've got 20-somethings who are now in positions where they're like, this is what I'm about. I came out of college, and this is what I think everybody wants. Know what your audience is.
Yeah. Come up with your own idea.
Yeah.
Come up with an original superhero if you want to go that route. Just do that.
That's, like I said, if you want to have a superhero that's gay and is, you know, and it happens to fight climate change for the betterment of people kind, great. There's your own superhero. We just made it up for you. Somebody said, is Superman gay? Is it Superman that's bisexual now? Is that what it is?
No, it was Superboy.
Superboy. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Right?
Good grief.
Why? Like, you know, next thing you know, Batman will be poor. There's never a poor superhero. You ever notice that? Never a poor superhero.
Well, now, Peter, what was Spider-Man's name?
Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker.
But I'm talking about, he was
still afford to go to college.
Yeah, he was kind of middle classy.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Like, you never find some guy that's got like one shoe digging in the trash. Oh, he can fly, but he also drinks a lot. That'd be great. Oh, my Lord. What was that? There was a movie with Stephen Dorff that came out about 10 years ago. It's a kind of independent movie. He had superpowers, and he was white trash.
Oh,
well, there was also
I love that dude, man. That's a great actor.
There was also the Hancock movie that Will Smith did, where he was a bona fide alcoholic.
Yeah, but he was a jerk. But he was like, he had an agent, and he was kind of like, you know, things were good. You know, it wasn't a dude who was like,
Yeah, but he went from, I mean, it was a redemption story, but he went from being like having a bottle of Evan Williams on his chest, laying on a park bench with one shoe missing, to his agent building him a suit and trying to reclaim his identity and his integrity.
Bill Bixby was poor.
Yeah, I guess he was. Well, I mean, he couldn't live anywhere because if he'd get mad, he'd trash the place.
Yeah, you're not getting your deposit back. Sorry about that.
Well, even somebody like the Punisher who has no powers, it's like, you got to be rich to afford all that weaponry.
You know, somebody's like, well, you know, you dolt, Spider-Man's poor. Hey, he's a semi-middle class life. I mean, he wasn't, I'm talking about poor. It's like living in a trailer.
I am sure that when Uncle Ben got killed, there was a pretty big life insurance payment that came out of that.
No doubt. So we're just pointing out. We like to point out these kind of things because we think you guys need to know. And by the way, you're all chiming in. Hancock, Toxic Avenger. There's a new Toxic Avenger movie, and the trailer came out. By the way, speaking of trailers, we'll talk about the trailer that came out yesterday for a movie that has controversy all over it. And it has nothing to do with what the star said. It's what it did that caused the controversy. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chet Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Download the Prize Picks app now. Use my code Chad and get ready to win. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. And the minute you play your first $5 lineup, it's just fantasy done right, you can get a $50 bonus immediately, win or lose. The beauty of Prize Picks is you're not picking spreads or teams. It's fantasy. It's players. It's that simple. Shohei Ohtani playing today. Do you think it's going to get more than 1.5 hits? Above or below? How about over here? You think that maybe LeBron, because you can go cross sports, is going to have more than 23.5 points, above or below? That's simple. Your lineup is set. You play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 bonus immediately, no matter the win or loss. It's simple. It's fun. Go out and play. It's fantasy done right. Chance to win 1,000 times your own money. So what are you waiting for? Do it today. Download Prize Picks. Use my code Chad. Play that first $5 lineup and get your $50 bonus. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Gambling problems? Call Tennessee. Redline 1-800-889-9789.
All right, drivers, still got that crash eastbound, East Loop downtown. It's got the left lane blocked there at James Robertson Parkway. Looks like a crash now in Antioch. It's on Bell Road, right, but it's right there at I-24. That's going to back people up trying to get to the interstate. President Trump pulls his nomination of Elise Stefanik as UN ambassador, and more college students on visas rounded up by ICE coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So, we were just talking about movies. Speaking of movies that are controversial, trailer dropped yesterday.
Uh-oh.
For this.
Heaven ain't waiting on neither one of us.
Is that a Baldwin? Is that a Rust? So you remember Rust, right?
Oh.
The trailer dropped yesterday.
Dude, are you going to watch it? I mean, I'm going to have to at least look at it.
I will tell you, I thought it would be cheesy. Yeah. It looks like a good. I love Westerns. I'm a sucker for Westerns.
Oh,
I went home yesterday.
Too,
I watched
dude.
like 10 Wells Fargos. Right? Jim Hardy, he is arresting people. He's fighting with, James Wesley Hardin. It was great. It looks actually pretty good. It's got Travis Fimmel from Vikings in it. It looks good. But I can't help every time he pulls a gun out thinking, was that the scene? Was that the scene?
Yeah.
So, it's, people are going to do what you did, and I'm going to do it. It's like, well, you know what? It looks good, but at the same time, I kind of want to see what the hubbub was all about.
Yeah.
How did they pull that? It's weird to think, too, you stop down because of a tragedy, and then you have to pick it up a year and a half later and reshoot some of the scenes and do all that stuff again. That's got to be odd.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, that dropped yesterday.
Dude. Get this. We were talking about Steven Dorff.
Yeah.
Who I love. I mean, I think he's a really good actor. He's in a movie. I'm looking at the trailer right now. It's Steven Dorff, Heather Graham, and Nick Cage.
Oh, yes, that new Western. The Gunslinger movie.
I'm definitely watching that.
Oh, absolutely. Steven Dorff is such a great actor. I loved him in Blade. He's in the first Blade.
He's good in Westerns, too.
Oh, he's great in Western. He was great in Old Henry.
Yes.
Most underrated Western ever.
I'm right with you. That was outstanding.
Great movie. Coming up, Ken and I are going to talk more Westerns. Bunch of other stuff. Let us know what you like. If you missed any show, grab the podcast. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We just picked up another crash, drivers. This one's going to be over by the airport, westbound 40 after Briley Parkway. Still working that one over the East Loop. It's going to be eastbound, the left lane block there at James Robertson Parkway. And right now at the White House,
President Trump has pulled the nomination of Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be his ambassador to the United Nations. The move comes amid concerns about House Republicans' razor-thin majority and questions about whether she would have the votes to be confirmed. The president wrote on social media, quote, "With a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. The people love Elise, and with her, we have nothing to worry about come Election Day."
Well, more students on visas rounded up by ICE. Iranian national Ali Reza Daroudi studying mechanical engineering at the University of Alabama, and Turkey national Ramesa Öztürk at Tufts University yesterday. Aaron Katursky.
The Department of Homeland Security says that she was engaged in activities supporting Hamas. We haven't seen any evidence as to what those activities might be. We have seen an op-ed that she co-wrote for the Tufts Daily, the student newspaper. It does not mention Hamas, but it criticizes the university for failing to recognize, quote, Palestinian genocide. We're not sure if that had anything to do with her detention.
It also called for boycotting any company doing business with Israel. And during a press conference in Guyana, Secretary of State Rubio asked about the detention of Öztürk, acknowledging the U.S. revoked her visa due to her views on the Israel-Hamas war. He said under the Trump administration, they've removed more than 300 visas so far.
We have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple.
And did you hear what they did in Virginia this morning? Law enforcement officials say they arrested the top leader of the gang MS-13, at least one of the top leaders there in Northern Virginia, FBI Director Kash Patel.
The brave men and women on this task force from state, local, and federal authorities have arrested 342 criminals in the state of Virginia alone.
81 of them, they say, have gang affiliations. Acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, says an arrest has been made in the case of Tesla vehicles set on fire with Molotov cocktails in Las Vegas last week. 36-year-old Paul Kim allegedly spray-painted "Resist" on the building of a Tesla collision center when 2 Teslas outside were set on fire, that fire spreading to others. The charges mainly related to vandalism. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it domestic terrorism, even though there's no terrorism charges against him so far. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thunderstruck. Yeah. I was talking to Matt. We were talking about Snow White. And it's people, the problem was they became so wacky with the wokeness beforehand. And let's be real, she had nothing to do with the dwarfs, okay? That was Peter Dinklage, by the way. That was another dwarf cutting off other dwarfs. So if you guys don't know the story, I think he was on Mark Maron's podcast. He's like, I can't believe that they're still doing this to us, where they're having us live in a cave and blah, 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 blah. And we shouldn't do that. And then Disney reacted to that. Now, mind you, he and the dude who played Willow, I forget his name, the leprechaun guy.
I know who you're talking about. I just don't know his name.
Warwick Davis. Those are the only two that work, right? Billy Barty, then Warwick Davis, then Peter Dinklage.
Billy Barty, he was in Seinfeld, right?
Yeah. He was the little guy. He was in the Little House on the Prairie and stuff like that. He's the only one who worked.
He was great.
He was like the most famous little person for a very long time. He said those things, and they decided to go a different way. And then it was like, okay, well, we're going to have bandits. We're going to make them bandits. So they were going to be bandits that were all normal people. They looked like they were going to a hippie fest. Then they decided, well, we're going to CGI things in there. And then they made them creepy. And if you've not seen Dopey, by the way, it is the thing of nightmares.
I got to look at that.
Go look up Dopey and tell me what you think of that. Creepy AF. So she had nothing to do with that. And, everybody got mad. There's a great thing. I think it's on End Wokeness or Libs of TikTok where there's a dwarf standing in front of the Snow White thing, pissed off that he didn't get a job. So the whole thing about the wokeness and stuff, that is ridiculous. As woke as it was, it became woke about them, and she wanted to do all this. They reshot that movie 20 different times. They went back and re-edited 100 gazillion times. It's just an awful movie. There's very little wokeness and just crap. Doesn't make sense all over the place. More than anything else. It's just bad. Sometimes stuff just sucks. But you're spending $300 million. You don't want it to suck. Did you see Dopey?
Yeah.
It's like he's melting.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like some of the AI horror accounts I look at on Instagram. Like some of the AI shock factor and something like that is what he looks like to me.
It's
like any moment he's going to grow fangs.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, whoa, that's uncomfortable. And the whole thing with the little people, Peter Dinklage, man, the fact that you did that was ridiculous. There are 6 major motion picture jobs that you talked essentially Disney out of. I would have went to Disney the next day and go, hey, if you're thinking about doing something, first of all, I should play the lead, right? Because I'm Peter Dinklage. And secondly, there are 6 other people that could be working. And you put that together, it's like 3 regular people. Chad. It is. I remember. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a story. Now, don't judge me because it wasn't my party.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
No promises.
All right. What's that thing on TikTok and everything? We listen, we don't judge.
I listen and I judge.
Somebody said Peter Dinklage was dwarf blocking. So, my buddy had his 30th birthday party. And he's like, dude, you're going to come? I said, yeah, of course I'm going to come. So we got midget wrestling. Get out of town. He goes, it gets better than that. So go over. In his backyard, he had it set up. He was a broker, big time money. Midget wrestling. It was happening. It was awesome, by the way. There was a cannon that shot one of them into the ring. Phenomenal.
Any midget bowling?
No, it gets better than this. They're walking. So I'm standing there, and it's a Mexican theme on top of that. The little guys, they're wearing sombreros with chips and salsa in their head. So they'd walk over to you, and you would collect the chips and salsa off the top of their sombrero.
Oh, my God.
Every one of those little people were screaming, I'm being oppressed.
No. So I was talking to one of them.
Really?
And he said, you know what? He goes, I go, you be honest, does this suck? He goes, no, man. He goes, I'm making $600 tonight. He goes, I got to feed my family. It's probably not a lot, but I got to feed my family. And he said, he goes, I used to make $1,000 a night when we had dwarf tossing. He goes, but then what happened? He goes, normies. People felt bad. And if you guys don't remember dwarf tossing, it was like dwarf bowling, but they also had ones where they set up like a Velcro like dartboard.
Yeah.
Sort of like they had in Wolf of Wall Street,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And you'd throw them and they'd stick to it. He goes, I was making $1,000 a night.
$1,000 a night?
And people started to complain that they thought it was
save
bad.
me from my $1,000 a
That's
night.
it. He goes, and everybody's like, aren't you happy we did that? Yeah. He goes, you took a bunch of money out of my kid's mouth, you Richards.
Wow.
That's not cool. So, stop trying to say, it's like that white woman the other day. Stop trying to save people.
Manufacturing crises.
Yeah.
That's the thing that kills me about it is they're saving people who don't want to be saved and don't feel they need to be saved.
Yeah.
But because they don't function the way you think they should, then therefore you have to be their white savior.
It's always white people, right? You never see a brother walking around going, we need to save these people. Right? There's never an Apache walking around going, I got to go save some midgets today, guys.
Yeah.
Never. It's stop trying to save people. white women. I'm looking at you.
You know who was doing that work that night? The dwarfs that wanted the work.
Yes.
The people that found it offensive or
You didn't capture one and make them do this. You're
Right.
going to do this or else.
Exactly. If that was offensive to a dwarf, they wouldn't take the job.
But $1,000? Of course. It puts money in their bank. That puts food in their bellies. That keeps a tiny roof over their tiny head. It's a regular size head.
That's potentially $20,000 a month.
Yeah, he would say he was working anywhere between 6 to 8 days a month on top. And see, he got tips. So that was just because he brought out the big blow up thing. And right, like that was his gig. That was a gig. You took it away from him. And I'm like, God, have you ever been to midget wrestling?
No.
Maybe. Midget wrestling is incredible. Dwarf rodeo. It's pretty awesome.
I've seen midget jello wrestling, but
I have not seen that. I don't know if that seems like something that's a fetish more than anything else. I don't really need to know what you do at night there, Bell, but
what do they ride on in the rodeo?
Like
little ponies.
They ride on like sheep and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
It is everything you imagine.
I was getting ready to say, if it's like a real bull, like a
that would be great. Put like 10 of them on there.
Good Lord.
9365 said Dinklage should have been cast as Grumpy.
It should have been. Could you imagine if you put one of them on a real bull and it flies into the crowd? You're like, if you catch it, you keep it. Like a baseball. Just stop trying to save people. That's all we're saying. That's it.
Or at least let them ask you for help first before you decide they need it.
Like if they write help on a napkin because you're like there.
I've been kidnapped.
Yeah, I've been midget napped, and this is it. It's just but it was so funny, man. It was so weird watching these guys walk around with sombreros full of chips and salsa. And you'd be sitting there and you take some off and you're just eating it right out of the top of the thing and just like, that is interesting. Like, you love that. My buddy was a big record executive. I'll tell you another story. I got this. He goes, and he used to like do weird things, like crazy, like he'd have people come in his office. And he goes, one time I hired a guy to dress him, a midget, and dressed him like a leprechaun. And I had him sit in the corner on a desk, and we would hold meetings. He would just sit there, and everybody was like, what's this?
That sounds like somebody I actually used to work for.
What was his name? First name?
It's going to take me a minute to remember now. I can't remember. It's been 35 years.
Was it Texas?
No, he lived in L.A. I lived in
It was
Texas.
L.A.? Oh, okay. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. That's the stuff that frustrates me. It's
Jeffrey.
like,
his first name is Jeffrey.
yeah, it wasn't Jeffrey, but there's a lot of those people out there. I mean, it's great. I always wanted to have a giant owl sitting behind me, and his name was El Jefe.
Yes.
His name was El Jefe. And in the middle of a meeting, I would just throw a rat back there and he'd catch it in his mouth. And
Yeah.
eat it.
Catch it in midair and eat it right there.
Oh,
I love owls.
I've always wanted to see midget strippers. Jason. Well, we knew that was coming from Jason.
Yeah, that's natural for Jason.
So, yeah, you know what? They've got little people wrestling now on like WCW and some of those other things. They get after it. They're athletic. It's great to watch. The fact is, I remember when that happened. This whole thing with Snow White was, yeah, it's ridiculous. But back to the fact that we have too many people out there who are trying to rescue people that don't need rescuing. So stop it, right? Stop it. You're the kind, you know why you're single, ma'am? Because the only people you go out with, you think you have to rescue. And then you have to rescue. Then you go get cats, and they don't want any help. I'll tell you that right now.
They end up hating you.
They do. That's the beauty of cats. Goodness me. I was talking to Matt. I'm like, are you going to cover? I like the Signal thing. I just, I don't care. I wanted to care for like 5 minutes. I did. But then I was like, what they did was stupid. What they did was ridiculous. The way they handled it was asinine and coming out, and they did lie. I want more transparency, but do I think if they've done this several times and numerous people are put on a text thing, like if Bell comes to me and goes, don't say anything, but I'm starting to get text from the White House that they're getting ready to invade, wherever, well, that's an issue. But the Democrats have nothing. This is what they're doing. They think this is the thing that's going to change. They want to get rid of Pete Hegseth. Because of this, he didn't didn't put the chain together. That was Walls. If you want to get rid of Walls, knock yourself out. I don't care. You know, we were talking about it earlier. His brother-in-law is Scott Stamp
from Creed.
Creed.
Which, honestly, if you want to get down to brass tacks, the more offensive of the two things is that he actually is related to somebody in Creed.
There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they should put him in charge of functions like, entertainment at the White House.
Maybe.
Where Creed's the house band. That would be so like Trump. I have a house band now. For the Oval Office? Yep.
Arms wide open, baby.
With arms wide open. Sally said, I wouldn't eat chips and salsa out of someone's sombrero. Well, that's why you're not fun.
Well, it wasn't just poured into the sombrero.
It wasn't. There's a bowl. But, it's like, you're not a 28-year-old guy with ridiculous disposable income having fun. Okay?
It's not like they're walking around serving margaritas out of their hand. They're in a corral.
That would be awesome. Oh, my goodness me. How did this show go sideways like this?
It's Brother Bilal's fault.
It is.
Probably.
My wife watches Little People of L.A., and I call it midget wrestling because they're always fighting.
Yeah, there was a... it's a group of little women, I think. Kind of like along the same lines of, the Housewives on Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
These were just a bunch of little women, and they would get into manufactured fights after drinking.
Yeah, the reality shows used to be kind of neat when they were kind of reality. Like MTV, when they had the house, the first one, they put everybody together.
Yes. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, they edited it up, but they were all together, all different points of view, et cetera, et cetera. It was interesting. Now it's like they're like, all right, we're going to shoot you out of a cannon, just like you would normally do. It's like, what? We're gonna teach you how to drive an 18-wheeler.
Listen, we need for you to get real drunk and start fighting.
Yeah.
You get mad at her about something, or we're going to kick you off the show.
And that's all. Everybody wants to see, because when you go to a restaurant and you're sitting there and everybody's having a nice dinner and nobody's fighting, nobody pays attention. The minute two people start fighting in a restaurant, everybody turns around.
Yeah.
That's why. You got weaves flying everywhere, people throwing blows, fake eyelashes falling off. Man, that's what you want to see. Somebody's fake boobs exposed. You're like, yeah, baby. You know what we need? We need a white trash version of Real Housewives.
That would be something.
Like a trailer. Because you know what? Let's be real. White trash drama, the greatest drama of all, because it's always the dumbest thing ever.
You know what would be great is a little person version of Bar Rescue.
That'd be interesting.
They wouldn't be able to reach up onto the bar stools.
Yeah, they do. They have remember the guy in Little People Big World? He sold those things, those little steps that you walk up on.
No, I never saw that.
You never saw that?
Yeah, that dude, Matt. That was his name.
Matt, yeah.
Matt, I got to look up their names.
Matt, little guy. And his wife, they split up.
Yep.
Yeah. So they split up, and, but he sold those things to hotels and everything where they're like steps that you walk up and it's
Matt Roloff.
Matt Roloff. The Roloffs. Brad Williams. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Brad actually said that there was another dwarf that was telling him that when you call us midgets, that's the same thing as calling a black person the N-word. And he was like, midget, please.
Did you ever see Mulvaney talk about that? He had midget in one of his opening monologues on Saturday Night Live, and they came down and they said, you can't use the M-word. You can't say midget on TV. And they said, why can't I say midget on TV? He goes, because it's like the N-word. He goes, no, it's not. He goes, yes, it is. He goes, you know why I know it's not? Because you're saying the word midget.
And you're not saying the N-word.
Oh, goodness me. A lot more stuff to come. Talk a little bit about what went on yesterday with NPR, which I find funny. And yes, we do have the SEAL attack. We'll have to get to some of that as well. We're covering the news today, kids. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Lean into being thinner. Yo-yo dieting sucks. Don't do it. How about starting to lose weight and getting off the yo-yo dieting. So you put on 15 or 20 or 30 pounds and you get fit and you drop 30 or 40 pounds and you're feeling great, then you put the weight back on plus some. That's yo-yo dieting. It's bad for your heart, increases stroke and type 2 diabetes. You don't want to do that. Get off of it. No prescriptions, no injections with lean. Formulated by doctors and done in such a way that it's easy. You take a couple pills a day. And this is what so I take pills in the morning and I feel great. Energy level through the roof, but I don't have the cravings. My blood sugar stable. And this is great. I turn the fat into energy. It's what it does. It burns it. Get off the yo-yo dieting. Get onto something that's manageable and real long-term. And it's with lean. Go to takelean.com. Use code Benson20. Get 20% off right there. Takelean.com. Code Benson20. Takelean.com. Use my code Benson20.
President Trump pulling the nomination of Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be his ambassador to the UN and other top stories coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I love people are like, I love the fact that you guys are talking about stuff that's not politics. Politics, that's, people say, like a lot of when I first started here, and I still get it. Why aren't you talking about that? Everybody talks about that. We talk about life. I've never, and in my business, even when I hang out with some of my friends who've been in this business, I'll go somewhere like an event or we'll go and they want to talk. What do you think of that? I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, we're here hanging out. Dude, I haven't seen you in like 6 months. How's the kids? I don't know. I'll have to ask Trump how they are.
Oh, I can't do that. Trump threw him in a camp.
That's right. He did. Threw him in a camp. Yep. Said he's had enough of him. That is one of the things several of you have chimed in about the kids or young adults being scooped up by ice. I think that's a good way to describe it. Scooped up by ice. And here's my thing. I want transparency. And if you are a supporter, and I know some people don't want to hear this. They want everybody to be thrown out of here. Like, oh, throw them all out. Okay. The beauty of our country is we do it differently. We're not like other countries. We have freedoms that other countries who say they're free don't have. That being said, I do want to see some transparency. If somebody supports Palestine and is against Israel, and because what a lot of people don't understand is the ADL, the Defamation League, they have come hard at colleges and have definitely done a lot with this administration to make sure that, hey, these people are gone and that we should get rid of them all. I want transparency. And I think we should all want transparency. We should want to know what is going on with some of these students, right? Are they really it, or using some people as scapegoats for people getting caught up? It's the right thing to do, because I want to be sure that when we do something, we do it for the right reasons, not just because, well, it's something that the people are going to cheer and yell, and you should all want that.
Well, and some of these students are like 30 years old.
Yeah, these adults. But if you're right, like if the op-ed is you're pro-Palestine for the Palestinian people because you feel that, I have no problem with that. If it's because you're like, we should kill all Jews, I have a problem with that.
Yeah. If you're, again, it goes back to if you are setting up tent cities,
yes,
and then blocking
Jewish students
access to their classrooms, you're breaking the law.
Yeah, and then telling them that, on October 7th, you got what you deserve and we should kill you all.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got to go. And that includes even an American student who's there where your college should go, I don't know if I really want this person here. But I want the transparency, because I think when you have the transparency, you leave nothing, right? Like we've been talking about Kennedy for 50, 60 years, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's no transparency. We want to know. So, and it should be the same way, no matter what it is. I want to know what's going on because I think it's fair that we should all know, because I want to know that we're doing it better. I don't want to say when the other side says we are, we're going to do this, and we're like, that's wrong. You guys shouldn't do stuff like that. And then we turn around and do something like that. That's not cool. Shouldn't want that, because we should do better. And we should be able to say, no, do better. Just like with the stupid signal thing. You guys are idiots. Do better. And the next time, if there's something else that comes out that's ridiculous like this, then Pete, you got to go. Sorry. At the end of the day, the buck stops with you. And if you can't get a hold of your people to do the right thing, somebody's got to pay for it. And that's how you show that I mean business. We do it right. And I still think we need to figure out a better way to communicate than Signal. There should be some sort of intranet where, like, in certain buildings you have access, but only like 12 people have access to this phone. It shouldn't be that hard. Should it be that hard? What the hell's wrong with you people? Coming up, we'll talk SEALs. Not those Navy SEALs. SEALs that are crazy, deranged, demonic, and maybe drug addicted, attacking surfers. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Betts Show, Super Talk, 99.7.
2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, still seeing that crash blocking the left lane eastbound East Loop downtown. That's going to be at James Robertson Parkway, and then over by the airport at 40 westbound after Briley Parkway. Full forecast in 5 minutes. President Trump has pulled the nomination of Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be his ambassador to the United Nations because Republicans are worried that her seat in Florida is going to go to Democrats. More students on visas rounded up by ICE. Iranian national Ali Reza Durudi, studying mechanical engineering at the University of Alabama, arrested early yesterday morning at his off-campus home in Tuscaloosa. And then Turkey national Rumeysa Öztürk at Tufts University yesterday.
If you're here as a lawful permanent resident on a green card, that in theory, entitles you to the same rights as a citizen pending your immigration hearing. If you're here on a student visa, it's a little murkier. And oftentimes people on a student visa are advised not to engage in protest activity or anything that could draw the attention or ire of authorities, because people here on a student visa just don't have those same kind of rights.
Police in Las Vegas have arrested a 36-year-old man accused of firebombing Tesla vehicles and a Tesla collision center last week. Here's Alex Stone.
Las Vegas police say technology was used to go from grainy surveillance video to identifying their suspect and now making the arrest. Paul Kim is facing state and federal charges accused of firing a rifle at Tesla vehicles and then firebombing them last week. Las Vegas Assistant Sheriff Dory Corrin says teams are looking into his affiliations online.
Some very loose but self-proclaimed ties to the Communist Party USA social media group.
Police are working to figure out if Kim is linked to any bigger group attacking Teslas nationwide.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Plenty of sunshine on this Thursday. Temperatures in the 70s this afternoon. 50s tonight. More cloud cover tomorrow. Maybe a spotty shower. A little breezy. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to near 80. Saturday starts dry. Rain will move in late in the day and overnight, as well as a rumble of thunder, but no severe weather threat. We get a break from that rainfall in the afternoon on Sunday, but then Sunday, 5 seconds. The risk for strong to severe thunderstorms with all modes of severe weather.
On the table it is. Raycon, best earbuds around. You will love your Raycons. Fit, second to none. Love my Raycons. Feel, well, they're the best around when it comes to like, you get the fit, but then the feel as far as what's on the inside of your ear. It doesn't hurt your ears. You can wear these things all day and you think, oh, well, they're going to run out of steam. No, 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life, and fast charging. So by fast, I mean every 10 minutes. So you put it in, every 10 minutes, get 90 minutes of listening power. Sound quality, second to none. It is the best thing around at a price that will not break the bank. 30-day happiness guarantee. If you're saying, man, I want to be able to take you guys everywhere with me, and I want to go for my walk, listen to a podcast, it's about the Raycons. The everyday earbuds, the ones I swear by. Get yours now. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad today. That's buyraycon.com/Chad for the everyday earbuds from Raycon. The best around. You get a 30-day happiness guarantee with that. Buyraycon.com/Chad.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. That sounds like the NFL thing again. I love that. It's a good thing to have there. Kids, speaking of sports, baseball. It's been very, very good to me.
With a new season come new faces all around the major leagues. There was Cam Smith, the rookie with the Astros, who got the news told to him by his own mom that he was going to make the big club. And then here in New York, how about former Uber driver and substitute teacher and now Yankees catcher, 29-year-old J.C. Escara, getting the news that he was making the Yankees and got to tell his family all about it.
That's got to be cool. Because you're 29 and an Uber driver. Like, there's a really cool thing out there where he's going to be a superstar. He's playing for the Astros. They did a thing where the manager got up and said, hey, I've always wanted to do this. I wanted to be able to ask everybody, who would you like to talk to first if you knew you were making the opening day roster? And everybody always said the same thing. I want to call my parents, want to call whatever, you know. And so I'm going to do that now because somebody in here doesn't know they're going to make the open day roster. And he calls and the phone rings. He goes, I'm going to call the guy and tell him he's making the opening day roster. And they call the guy that's in there. But he was a number one pick. He's only 22. He's the third quickest to Major League Baseball games-wide to minor league. Okay? This guy's a 29-year-old Uber driver. That's a different story altogether.
That's when you're wondering if the dream is going to happen.
Yeah. As you pick up somebody right at 2:30 in the morning who's vomited in your car, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold on much longer. And you're going to be a Yankee.
And you've told all those kids in the substitute classes that you're teaching that you're really trying to be a baseball player.
That's it. The Uber driver. What do? You just do this? Right? You just do Uber? What do you do? And you're like, I'm in the minor league baseball. Oh, cool. Did you get a fat signing bonus? Not fat enough because I'm picking you up at 2 a.m, drunkie. Autumn. Have you guys never heard Autumn Wind? The Raiders?
Autumn Wind.
The Raiders thing? I can't believe you guys have never heard.
I probably have, just don't recall.
So it's great because when you play that bell, that little it reminds me of Autumn Wind, which was like the greatest thing. Here, so listen to it. And the voice is incredible. It's about the Raiders. And that's what it sounded like there. And I was like, oh, that's incredible.
The autumn wind is a pirate. Blustering in from sea, with a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
So
His
awesome.
face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
That was awesome. Great John Fonseca. You could listen to him, just that voice, like if he was ordering pizza.
Isn't the guy didn't he used to work for NFL Films or?
Yeah, that was who it is. Yeah, that was the whole NFL back in the day, NFL Films.
Great pipes.
Yeah, great pipes. Great
They need
pipes
some
indeed.
money.
Speaking of great pipes, it's that portion of the program where we talk about nature. Nature will mess you up. Because it will. It's not just sharks that are in the water, people.
That is sadly very true. Now, an expert here in Ventura County told us they hardly ever get sea lion bites. The one reported yesterday is the first one this year. And unfortunately, he says it's a sign of how many animals are getting sick. It's happening from all the way up here in Ventura County down to Orange County.
So
Don't mess with sea lions, dude.
You don't? You know what?
Even if they're not sick.
Have you seen, because TikTok, you and I love talking TikTok. They've got this animal attacks thing, and this guy does this great animal attacks. Have you seen the one where they talk about the elephant seal that kills the diver?
No.
I haven't either.
Oh, it's brutal. It is like, it took her down. It fought her for 15 minutes, but it's, it's tons.
Yeah, they're...
Yeah, those things are giant.
They're the real deal, man.
But the difference between those and this is these are those little cute ones, but they're addicted to something. They're on drugs.
RJ Lamandola posted this smiling picture from a hospital bed, but on Facebook he shared a terrifying tale of being attacked and stalked, he says, bitten and dragged by a clearly sick sea lion while he was surfing off the Oxnard coast on Friday. He directed us here to where it happened, and it took us no time to find carcasses on the beach.
Carcasses on the beach. How weird is that? Just walking by. By the way, if you see dead seals and sea lions in a place like Southern California, probably not a good place to surf anyways, because I don't know if you're aware of this, they've got a lot of sharks.
Yeah, sharks like them.
Yeah, and sharks are not the greatest hunters of all. Have you ever watched them try to catch a seal? Once they miss,
eagles.
Once a great white misses,
they just give up.
They can't. They don't have the energy. Those things bouncing around. Yeah. So. This dude's like, dude, that thing totally bit me.
Marine life experts near the Channel Islands say they are getting nearly 150 calls a day about sick, dying, or dead sea lions or dolphins. That's about 4 times as many calls as they usually get.
I didn't know there was that many sick animals in the ocean, right?
The more you know.
The more, you see, you guys, you're learning stuff.
Hundreds of animals are being poisoned by a massive toxic algae bloom that has grown in recent years. Down in San Pedro.
So the last week we've seen so many.
The same sad story of a severe mass stranding event.
Stranding event. The greatest stranding event of all time took place where? Oregon. Do you guys remember? Mm-mm. You don't remember the greatest event of all time when the giant whale washed on shore and they didn't know what to do with it? It was the 70s.
Is that like, when they blew it up?
And they blew it up. And it was, if you've never seen it...
It's raining well.
It's raining well, and you think it's destroying cars because it's thousands of pounds, some of these pieces coming off, landing on things.
They just blew it up?
They just blew it up.
They used dynamite.
Yeah, and you can see it, too. It's incredible.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's everywhere. All right, check it out. Here's some more of the seals washing up dead.
John Warner is with the Marine Mammal Care Center, which he says in just 3 months has already taken in 190 animals. Their annual budget is enough to care for 300.
This algae bloom produces a toxin called domoic acid, and it gets into the food chain. It's a neurological toxin, so it affects their brains. They'll present with seizures, either extreme lethargy or disorientation and aggressiveness, all because they're literally sort of out of their minds to some degree.
That's exactly what Kern Thompson says he saw a few weeks ago.
Now, this is, if you want to go to Central Casting and find the surfer dude kid who's got, like, you want to talk white privilege, like, here's the dude's like, what's up, man? My name's Kern, bro. How you doing, man? Kern. All right, cool. What's up, man? How you guys doing? Yeah, hanging out here surfing.
His girlfriend took this video of a sea lion clearly disoriented on the shoreline.
Paintings, and then we looked in front of us, and there's a seal that came up on the rocks, and he was like seizing out, and then he died right in front of us. But I went up to the Channel Islands to actually with a couple friends, and we took kayaks out there on our boat, and we saw a bunch of dead seals all floating. There was a group of them.
Experts
all floating.
He's like, yeah, bro, it's so it's like season out, like, rah, and it's dead, bro.
I asked my buddy Spicoli what he thought of.
Man, we're just chilling. It was so crazy. What are you guys doing?
We just got wicked baked, and all of a sudden this starts happening.
Man, one time I was totally catching. I was like, what? And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, it's awesome. Oh, my Lord.
So these are seals, not sea lions.
Seals, sea lions, and dolphins. So what's happened is, dolphins are dying too. Ride the Nar, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, so awesome. Ride the Nar. So what's happening is these algae it usually blooms every 4 or 5 years, and it's got some weird toxin that it releases, and it causes them essentially to get high, and then they go out of their mind and kind of become zombies. But some people are like, they're demonic because they will chase you. So, bruh, I was like, man, no way. I'm not doing that.
So basically, this is the equivalent of seal bath salts.
That's exactly what it is. That's it. And normally that's just a Florida thing.
Man, I didn't know. I didn't know that algae would grow in the ocean off of California's coast.
Oh yeah, it is a like it comes like once every 4 or 5 years. It blooms big time, and it's
very cyclical.
Yeah, but it's crazy because you'll see these things where you could. It's like they're rabid.
Yeah.
And they'll chase. And if you don't know anything, they got canines that blow canines away.
Yes, they do.
They're massive. And they're a little bit better at swimming. And I don't know what goes on, but they'll actively seek you out. Where normally they'll swim around you and they want nothing to do with you outside of that. They're not gonna let you pet them.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're coming to bite you.
They're underwater, getting all high on the algae, and it's like, bro, watch me take out this surfer.
Dude, I'm going to go hit that guy, and I'm going to get some gnar, go crunchy on the beach, and drop dead.
That was my skull.
That was totally it, man. That guy was, whoa. That's why nature, kids. That's why nature. Nature's messing up nature.
Don't pet the sea lions and seals and dolphins.
Don't do it anyways.
No. Don't want to do it, man.
Even in their best behavior, you're like, you know what? No, I don't think I'm going to. Let's be real. If you ever been to SeaWorld or any of those kind of places?
Never have.
I have. I used to live in Orlando.
So you ever just think once, I'd like to go and just see one of these things lose its mind and see what would happen. I want to be a part of that.
Like whenever the killer whales are
killing?
They're just playing. But it was a couple of years ago, I think, the whale kept dragging its trainer underwater.
Yeah, that was, Blackfish. Did you ever see that movie?
So you got to watch that movie.
Blackfish, I know.
Those whales ain't playing. They're like super, they're isolated in those small tanks, and it drives them crazy.
Yeah.
I believe that.
So the movie Blackfish is based on a killer whale that killed more than a few.
Wow.
It was not something that...
It was Tillicum or something like that.
Yeah, Tillicum. And they'd moved Tillicum around a few times. But when it killed the final one, like in front of everybody, it was like playing with its food.
Yeah.
It wasn't eating. It would just take him down. But when they got him out, because it's so big, like the arms were broke, the legs. And then when they had moved it originally, it was at another place where... You know, when I was a kid, I would go there, like, how cool would that be to work with these animals? Like, you probably have to be a marine biologist. Then you find out, it's like, dude, I was here to try out and see if I get a job selling churros, but they told me I could get into the wetsuit and blow a whistle and toss around. It'll be awesome. Like, there's no training, which is nuts. Because marine biologists won't get in the pool with them.
Because they
they're
know.
smart enough not to.
They know better.
Yeah, you should check it out. If you've never seen the Blackfish thing, it's sad. It really is.
It's both very interesting.
I don't know.
Very
what
interesting and it is very sad.
Absolutely.
I'm not watching anything sad, boys.
Well, it's not sad like you're going to cry. It's not like, oh my God, it's sad as in like what's going on. Like you feel for them because in some places, especially like SeaWorld and stuff, they can at times even hear like the ocean and get a sense of like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, see, I don't like that, man.
I know you don't. And by the way, I know he's not a fish, so don't send me stuff, okay?
That's a mammal, Chad.
I didn't name the movie, all right? I didn't name the movie.
My wife says she's not going to watch this Nick Cage, Stephen Dorff, Heather Graham Western with me.
Well, I will.
I'm gonna have to go home and...
That might be divorcing talk right there. That's all I'm saying. Coming up, Matt Murphy. He's here. I talked to him earlier. We're going to have a good conversation. Then we'll turn the reins over to him. Speaking of cowboy stuff. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. We're in the middle of a very serious conversation, Matt and I, talking about Charles Barkley.
That time, Charles called me. Just called him, he held for 20 minutes.
Really?
I mean,
That's how popular you
I was fascinated. He was just a caller to the show. It was nice.
That's nice to know. You never know who's listening.
Hello, Chad.
What's going on, brother?
I also had Charles Barkley's mama yell at me at one point.
Well, that's a good thing.
Because I was talking about how awful his golf game was during my radio show at a golf event where he was playing, as a celebrity. And from across the veranda, I heard, "Who's talking about my baby? Who's talking about my baby?" That was Charles's mama. She came on the show with me. We were good at the end. Who's talking about my baby?
That is hilarious.
That's what she said.
That are good times.
Those are, fabulous times. Those are the times you remember.
Absolutely.
We're talking about golf because it's such a beautiful day and I want to go play.
Oh, I do. I'd love to go play right now.
On my shoulder, blah, blah.
You got to do the show.
Yeah. I thought, it's funny. I'm a fat boy. And so if you're watching on TV, if you're not, you need to. But if you're watching on TV, I got this shirt that I couldn't fit into, but I've lost a little weight. So I tried it on today and it fits.
All right.
And I don't know how I got this shirt. I don't know when I got this shirt. I don't know who got me this shirt. I don't know why it's in my closet.
It's got the holes in there for your thumbs.
Well, and I thought, this is a new shirt and it's torn already, I said to myself, because this is how little I actually exercise. Apparently I'm told these are the thumb holes.
Yeah.
Like, why do people, that's to keep people warm or what is that for? What is this for?
It's to keep you from it riding up your arm.
Yeah.
Some people use it for warmth, they keep it down, but yeah. So you're not using
that's
it for that.
definitely an exercise-based hole.
Yes.
That I will never use.
The only time you ever see those, usually soccer players will have those in snow and stuff like that.
But not me.
No, not you.
I thought it was just, look, my shirt's broken. That's what I
in
thought.
both places.
And
wow.
That's what
tipped it off?
That's what tipped it off. I looked over, I go, wait a minute. Maybe this is intentional.
Maybe. People pay for this?
Oh, we're doing big signal talk again? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, God, no. We talked about anything but signal talk today.
Good Lord.
I have one story on it today, boys.
That's it. I did one thing for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, I don't really care about this. Let's talk about seals attacking surfers.
Yeah, I don't think you guys understand quite how the liberals really, really, really want this to be the story that they want it to be. I don't think everybody understands that, but they very much do.
Well, good for them.
Good for them. Everybody else is moving on.
We've all moved on.
We're moving on.
I got other stuff. We talked about the littler people. Had a great story about
dwarves?
Yes.
I mean, we can say dwarves, right?
Midget, dwarves, whatever.
Can we say midget? I say midget.
I do too. Or dwarfs. And
I've never known a little person. I mean, maybe they do. I've never known personally.
No. It's always the normies that do that.
Right.
Stop trying to save everybody, normies.
Man, it's one of the greatest songs ever written.
That's it. Coming up next, from what's the name of your band again? Bacon Waste?
Wasted Bacon.
Wasted Bacon. Coming up next.
Wasted Bacon.
The lead singer of Wasted Bacon. Straight ahead. It hits Super Talk 99.7.